everyone, welcome to History with Mrs. Barker. This is the first day that we're doing distance learning for history, and so we're going to get started right away because there's a lot to go over. First thing you need to do is to go onto Google Classroom and click onto your Ancient Civilizations button. And when you get there, you'll notice that there is 4 words on the very top: Stream, Classwork, People, and Grades. The stream is more for announcements, general information, important information, and some assignments will show up there. But all of the assignments are actually in Classwork, is where I want you to go to access your assignments. Alright, so this is what you're going to see when you log on to Classwork. I need you to click onto Distance Learning by week, and you're going to go to week 1. And I'm going to go ahead and go over this with you so you'll know what we're going to be doing this week. So due April 10th, which is Friday, 210 class points are needed to earn an A for your classwork each week. 255 class points are available. Select the assignments that work best for you to aim for a high score. Any points earned over 233 points will be considered extra credit towards your classroom assignment grade. Please remember that your 6 pillars of character. Inappropriate posts in Google Classroom, public spaces such as posts containing profanity, or cyberbullying will result in a 0 for the week. Please note all exams and quizzes are mandatory unless posted otherwise. Exam and quiz points will also be added toward and may affect your overall grade. Be sure to study. So to go over that, when I say that if you get 210 class points to earn an A, that is for the classwork part of your grade. Anything you earn on quizzes or tests will be combined with that to make your overall classroom grade. So do make sure you study. If I tell you there's going to be a test, study. Keep your eye on the stream and on your classwork, because I will give hints and tell you if quizzes are coming. So make sure that you have your eyes on Google Classroom daily. Multiple times a day would be good. Okay, let's take a look at the Community Day Monday. Now, there is a flyer that's attached here, and I want to show you what that looks like. And it will tell us the times for our Community Day. Community Day is on Monday. Let's go ahead and open this up. There we go. Community Day is on Monday. History, Period 2, 10:15 to 10:56. Period 3, 11 o'clock to 11:41. That's it for history. ELA also has class times later in the day, and so does MS Success. So we'll go ahead and leave that. Go back up to Distance Learning by week. Alright, 30 points are available for participating in the video conference and Community Day discussion question. You may participate in either session for each subject. The community question will be located separately from this assignment in the community question topic on our Google Classroom. Community Day gives us a chance to communicate online via video conference or go over the week's assignments and participate in answering the Community Day question. So, in order to do that, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. So, Community Day question is right above Distance Learning by week. Our Community Day question is here. You're going to have a choice of 3 questions, and so I'll go ahead and read this to you. Okay. The purpose of Community Day question is for our class to still have an opportunity to interact with each other. Please remember that this is a public discussion, so you must keep everything that you write appropriate for all ages. Inappropriate content will result in a 0 for the entire week. To complete your Community Day discussion question, select one of the following questions and respond to it using CER, Claim Evidence Reasoning. Make sure that you give reasons for your answer and explain how those reasons support your answer. Your response must be attached to this post, so be sure to hit the comment button below. So there's a choice of 3 questions. You need to pick one. You only need to answer one question. The first option is explain how the physical location and geography of Greece influence the types of economic activities of the people living there. Number 2, how did the Minoans develop wealth? Number 3, why did the Greeks establish colonies? Finally, after completing your response, respond to another student's response using at least 25 words. Responding can be as simple as saying why you agree or disagree with another student's post, discussing how you are similar or different, and or brief summary about what you wrote about in your post. There really is no restrictions on how you respond to others other than keep it appropriate, respectful, and on topic. So, yes, this is on our reading for Chapter 5, Lesson 1. So obviously you are going to have to read that lesson before you respond to this. I'm going to try to have Community Day questions reflect the reading from the previous week, but because this is our first time, I'm going to go ahead and change this due date for this till Friday, which is April 10th. So you will have the whole week to read, get your work done, and respond to your Community Day question. Make sure you respond to someone else's answer, only one other person's answer. Don't go spamming all the other answers on there. And you must make sure that it's 25 words or more, or you will not get credit for it. So we'll go ahead and go back down to distance learning by week. Go to week 1. And I'm sorry I'm going through this really quickly because there's a lot to cover. Some of this I might be going over specifically on Community Day, but I want to try to put as much as I can in this video. 25 points are available for watching and being present during the live showing of this week's lecture video. That goes in general for all weeks. However, this week is different. Some people won't have Chromebooks from the school until after the class time. So as long as you do this assignment and you watch the video, I will go ahead and give you those 25 extra points. We're going to go ahead and go to the next thing. Our week 1 assignments. 100 points are available for completing reading of the assigned lesson on McGraw-Hill Education's website and answer practice questions. So what you're going to do for this is down below you will see a link to McGraw-Hill. You will go to McGraw-Hill. Okay, you will log in as yourself. If you don't have your login, I don't want you to panic. I'll be available to reset passwords for you after this video on Community Day, so don't worry. So go ahead and go on to your class launch and go to do. Okay, you'll notice here Smart Book Chapter 5 Lesson 1. This is due on Friday. Go ahead and click on that. This kind of gives you some instructions. Read Chapter 5, Lesson 1. Click Practice in the lower left-hand corner and start answering questions. If it directs you to reread, stop answering questions and go back to reread before you continue with answering questions. The Smart Book will highlight items in green that you have mastered and understand. It will highlight items in yellow for you to focus your reading on those items. So you'll click here. It will take you specifically to that chapter and that lesson. Now, it won't end at the end of the lesson, so make sure you stop reading at that part. Okay? So I want to go to the read. This is what you're going to see. You'll go on here, and it's going to be the same as your book. If you feel more comfortable reading it out of your textbook, that's fine. But you're going to have to come back, and you're going to have to click the practice in this lower left-hand corner, this practice button, in order to do the practice questions. And let's say I go in here and it says Greek citizens' strong loyalty to their own city-states. Click the answers you think is right. I'm just going to click something random. I think so. Ooh, I was right. Wow. Okay, let's try another one.
You've answered all of the questions relevant to the topics you've read about so far.
Good.
You can continue to practice if you want to, but if you do, you'll get questions about sections you haven't read yet.
Okay, so it's telling me that because obviously you saw me click over. I didn't get a chance to read the Smart Book all the way through. So, in ancient Greece, most citizens had the right to... I'm just going to pick a wrong answer, okay? And see, it will tell me I'm wrong. Now, if you go through and you don't read, and you go through and just randomly start selecting answers, it is marking the number wrong. And your points on this assignment is based on the number you get correct. So please make sure that you are not just skipping the reading and coming and guessing answers. You need to make sure that you are reading and paying attention. Okay? So don't click challenge, because that sends something to the company saying that you don't agree, and that's not something we need to take care of. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So let's say I get to this question and you've already read, but you don't know what the answer is. You can't remember. You're like, oh, I know it's something, but I can't remember what it is. Instead of going back down here to read, you can go up here to read about this, and it will take me directly to the section that has to do with this. Okay, so I want... See, polis was the basic political unit of Greek civilization. The center of each polis was a fort built on a hilltop. The hilltop that a fort stood on was called Acropolis. Okay, outside the Acropolis was an open area called an agora. I think that's the first one I want. So I can go back to practice, and I don't have to click down here and practice. It's right here on the side. I can click it to pick it back up. I'm going to put agora in here. Okay, and I'm going to click I know it, because I think I know it. And it's correct. Now, if you misspell it, it's going to recognize you misspell it. So try to spell it correctly. So then I'll click OK. It goes on to the next question. And if I'm not sure how that goes, I can go down here and read about the article. Match the group of Mycenaean civilization on the left with its description on the right. So I think I might know this one. Kings, they lived on palaces, I think. Nobles lived on large farms called estates. Workers lived in villages on estates. I think that's exactly the way it needs to be. Yeah, it looks like it. Submit. Yes, I got it right. Okay. So make sure that you click down here to read if you need to go back to reading and you want to read more. Or if you just want to have a little help with this section here, you can go to read about this and it takes you to that section. And you can click here to go back to that question. Now, if you are in the read section, you make sure you're reading and you can scroll up and read. Down at the bottom is where you push to go to the next page, and you notice the last page says 452. That's not where you're ending at. You're ending this is it right here. Let's make sure. Yep, on page 167. So make sure you don't keep going. You stop there. Make sure you completed all of your practice questions. If you don't, then you won't get credit and it won't record, and so you'll get a 0. So make sure that you've completed all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and close out here. This is something new because we haven't done it this way before, but because we are doing distance learning, it's a very good tool. So please make sure that you complete that one for the points, and there is a lot of points available for it. let's go back up here to our assignments. Need to keep going. Okay. So for, let's see, this gives you a kind of a step-by-step direction on how to get to that question on McGraw-Hill. Okay. And remember that I will reset passwords as needed. Just community day or by sending me a message, and I'll get that done really quick after you send me a message. Our next assignment, 50 points are available for completing this week's Social Studies IXL. The IXL score you have at the time I enter grades is the amount of points you will receive. Make sure to sign into your IXL account before completing this assignment. Now, what I mean by the amount of points on your score, basically half of whatever your SMART score is what the available is. So if you get 100 on your SMART score, you'll get full 50-point credit. We're going to go ahead and go down to your link, because there is a link here, and it's taken us directly to Classical Athens, Greece. And what you need to do is make sure you sign in first, because anything you do on here will not save if you are not signed in. So basically, it's a little bit different than the language arts. It wants to start stage 1, answer 5 out of 6 questions correctly. Okay. Athens was one of the most powerful independent city-states in ancient Greece. Look at the definitions below, then answer the question. So it gives us words and definitions: independent, self-ruling, city, a large town, state, a territory with its own government. Which of the following statements describes living in an independent city-state? My city rules itself, and it is not part of a larger country. All of the decisions about my city are made by a faraway emperor. I live by myself in the wilderness. I vote for a president that rules over many cities. So Athens was one of the most powerful city-states in ancient Greece. Look at the definition below. Okay, so city rules itself and is not part of a larger country. What do you think? Maybe? I don't think they live by themselves in the wilderness. I vote for a president that rules over many cities. All the decisions, I think they all move themselves. So let's go over and see if I'm right. It looks like that's right. Are there independent city-states today? Yes. Although most countries are larger than one city, there are a few city-states today, such as Monaco and in Europe and Singapore and Asia. This is going to give us some information about the polis. It's a city-state. That's what they call it. Go ahead and read through this. So 50 points are available for completing a virtual vocabulary matrix using Quizlet. Vocabulary matrix. Please see attached directions and our lecture video for instructions. So this is something that we're going to have to do, and I'm going to have to show you how to do. On the word list, I'm giving you the vocabulary words. So here are the vocabulary words, and there's only 12 this time. So that's right in there. You're going to go onto Quizlet. You'll log into Quizlet. And when you go to do this, I want you to enter the title, Vocabulary Matrix 5-1. And 5-1 is basically the chapter, which is chapter 5, and 1 is the lesson 1. So if you are doing a different assignment, please make sure that you are putting 5-1 or whatever number it is that you need to do for that chapter and that lesson. I want you to also include your first and last name. So I would put, for me, Barker C. So please make sure you do that. Make sure you're visible to everyone. And make sure it is only editable by me, which means editable by you, basically. Okay? So go ahead and click down. You're going to go here to the first term. And our first word on our list was, let's go back to the list, dominated. So you're going to go ahead and type out dominated here. Okay? You are going to look for a definition. Oh, wait, I forgot. Choose language. Make sure it's English. The first couple of them, they might have you choose, and make sure you're choosing English, and then after that, it probably pick up that they're all English. You are going to find the definition for dominated that matches the context in which it's used in the book. So click here, and actually it gives you some options for dominated. And also you want to choose English here. And I'll go back up to the line again. And these are the three. And how it's used in the book is that it said mountains dominated the land mass there, the space, the land. And so it's not going to be completely crushed or controlled. And it's not going to be controlled or ruled by superior authority or power. So I'm just going to put controlled. So the area was basically controlled by these mountains. However, they weren't able to trade very easily. They had to go by water. They couldn't go past those mountains very easily. It's not like they had a plane. So they were controlled basically in that sense. You choose the correct one by context. If your context is not the same, it will be marked wrong. You'll lose points. Okay, next what you'll do is you'll click on image, and you will look for a picture that matches your image matches your definition in context. So you will go through and you could click this arrow. And when I say mountains dominated the landscape, it makes me feel like this might work because trees are dominating that landscape. So I'm going to use that one as my example. Okay, that is my first word. Then I go on to my next word. And my next word is peninsula. So I'm going to go ahead and type that out. Peninsula. Okay. And you'll see it's already chosen English for me. English. And it says a piece of land surrounded by water on three sides. That is correct. I'm going to go ahead and choose that. And then I'm going to choose image, and I'm going to go through and find an example of a peninsula here. And the easiest peninsula is probably this. I'll just choose that one. And that gives me my second word. See how much easier this is than the paper one. So let's say I finish this off. When you are done, you'll click create. Okay. And you will see here, click on copy link. Okay. Then you will go back to Google Classroom. And you will, where's that? Oh, this is exact wording on how to do that. So you see this gives us step-by-step directions on how to make your virtual vocabulary matrix. But what you're going to do is you are going to attach this assignment, this link, to this assignment. Okay. So make sure that you follow the directions here, and if you have any additional questions on how to attach it, check out my video that I posted on how to attach a Google Classroom video on or an assignment onto Google Classroom. So let's go back. I'm sorry I'm going through this, trying to go through this quickly. There's a lot of information, like I said. The next videos will not be as long. It's just I've had a lot to go over. If you email me at cbarker, I could answer questions. Your attendance for the week is based on logging in and working to earn points. You'll need 140 points to receive a passing grade of a D before April 10th. Remember, that is not including your test and quiz grades added into the mix. So that's it for me today. Hopefully you're not asleep. I know that was very long. I want to tell you to have a good week and to take care. Bye.